Okay guys, I'm sorry that I'm not here today, but I'm making this video for you so that you don't get behind. So this should be on the pink paper that you just got handed out. So we're gonna start up here on this very first graph that talks about cosine. And I've said this before, you can make an XY chart and graph anything as long as you have a big enough chart. So I'm gonna start this XY chart with you. I'm going to kind of anticipate that you are going to finish it, but think about your unit circle, okay? So, and about this graph over here. So if from here to here is 2 pi, and that's 8 boxes, 1, 2, 3, 4, to here, that would be pi. Half of that would be pi over 2, which makes every box on here pi over 4. Okay, so that's what I'm going to scale this XY chart by. I'm going to say, hey, this is pi over 4. This is, and actually, let me back up. Give me a sec. Instead of starting at pi over 4, maybe I should start at 0. And then do pi over 4. And then do pi over 2. And then do 3 pi over 4, etc. Okay? So, again, you just have to think about your unit circle. What is the cosine of 0? And that's 1. And then what is the cosine at pi over 4, which is rad 2 over 2. This is a little hard to graph, but if you grab your calculator, that's approximately 0.7. All right, and then the cosine at pi over 2 is 0, right? And just finish the chart, okay? And it should look like this. So now, when you plot those points, and I'm going to let 3 boxes over here equal 1, right? And 3 boxes over here is going to equal -1, just so you can kind of see. Oh, that's nice. I just got paid, guys. All right, so let me start plotting some of these points. So when x is 0, I'm going to have a 1. When x is pi over 4, I'm going to have 0.7, which is a little more than half, more than 2/3, so right about there. Pi over 2 is 0. All right, again, just continuing on this thing here. And again, and looking at that table that you had, 3 pi over 4 is going to be -0.7. All right, and continuing, and you should end up with this. Okay, now that is just one time about the unit circle. Okay, that graph that you're seeing right there is again just going around once. But you know that if you continued around the circle, that you would get more points that are in the same position. All right, again, it's periodic, okay, meaning it's going to continue its pattern over and over and over again. Right, and so this is what a cosine graph looks like. All right, and I will be picky about this, you know how I am. It needs to be a smooth flowing curve, all right, like a roller coaster, something you wouldn't mind riding on, okay? What I mean is, do not draw this, okay? I wouldn't want to ride on that roller coaster. I know damn well you wouldn't want to ride on that either. All right, so this is what I'd like you to do. I would like you to try the next one, okay? Try, and it's funny, that doesn't want to zoom for me, but anyway, try the y equals sine of x, okay? Make an xy chart, okay? And plot the points. All right, so if you do it right, your xy chart should look like this. And then your graph should look like this. Okay, so then if we move on up to the tangent one, all right, again, I would like you to pause, make an XY chart. Okay, again, go once about the circle and see what you end up with. Okay, and then I want you to plot those points. Okay, so your XY chart should end up looking like this. And then your graph should end up looking like this. Now that looks kind of weird, right? And on your XY table, you should have some parts that say undefined. Okay, so undefined on a graph is going to be an asymptote. Not the first time that you've seen asymptotes, but on your XY chart, wherever you see the word undefined is going to be an asymptote. So there's going to be a lot of them on this graph. Okay, in fact, when you're all done with asymptotes, it should look like this. And then when you actually connect the dots and don't cross over the asymptotes, this is what a tangent graph looks like. All right, so you now have on the front of this pink paper, you have a sine graph, excuse me, you started with cosine, a cosine graph, a sine graph, and a tangent graph. Okay, now when you turn the paper over, let me see if I can get that to show, give me a second. You should have this worksheet. Okay, what you're supposed to be doing here, and this is going to be your assignment for the rest of the period, is you need to label all the numbers lines. Okay, meaning every single one of these that you're seeing needs to have a label on it. Okay, here's some of the conditions. The conditions are they must be fractions. If they're not a nice number, I want it to be a fraction. Okay, so for example, the first number line's really easy, right? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Okay, but like on this one, if this is 5 and this is 6, in the middle is 5.5. Okay, but I want that as a fraction that is improper. Okay, so this may take you a little bit of time. This one's going to be 11 halves, right? Which means this number right here, this should be 6.5, but I want you to change it to an improper fraction. Okay, and again, this all depends on your knowledge of fractions, how you can add fractions, how they can be reduced. Okay, if your fractions are reducible, make sure you reduce them. All right, we will go over these 12 number lines tomorrow when I return. Good luck.